Hello everybody and welcome to another video. This one is going to be a bit different. This is going to be a booktube video. This is something that I've come across recently. As some of you know, I haven't been very well recently, thus I look pasty because I've got chronic pain and this morning is not the greatest day, to put it mildly. I've got problems with my back and with my pelvis, and it does cause me quite a lot of distress. But so if I look pasty and puffy, that's why. Just the pain levels aren't great. But anyway, enough of that. I thought I'd do a quick video this morning. It's a booktube. This is something that I'm a massive reader, as you might guess from. This is more my partner's side of the bookshelf, thus all the DVDs. But generally we have two big bookshelves in our living room, plus there's more books that need to find room. I'm a massive book person, so I thought I would talk to you about the next 5 books that I'm planning to read this morning, roughly what they're about and how good I think they're going to be. I have started the first one literally last night, but the others I have not started yet. It's a bit of a mishmash of genres. I would say 3 of these kind of fall into fantasy/horror. One of them is kind of autobiographical, and the other one I'm not too sure how to categorise, but you'll see more in a minute. So the first book I'm going to talk about is by a gentleman called Ransom Riggs. This is the book. It's called Library of Souls. This is the 3rd book in the series of Miss Peregrine's Children, or Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's a bit of a long title. I've read the first 2 books. So the first one is Miss Peregrine's Home for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So I was looking on the bookshelf to see what it's called. The second book is Hollow City, and this is the 3rd one. This is Library of Souls. So this is about a group of children with special abilities who are persecuted in normal life. However, they live in like an alternate reality, and there's one chap in the book, or in the series, who starts off as a normal young child, but he knows there's something different about him. He eventually finds out that he's a peculiar, and that he has the ability to see the monsters that persecute the peculiars in their own world. They're called hollows. And there's also whites. But anyway, big long-winded ramble about what this book is about. I love this book because, or this series of books, because there's lots of, as you can see, there's old-fashioned photographs. This is the back of the book. So he uses like old-fashioned Victorian-style photographs that have never been published before, that are a little bit unusual. There's something a bit strange about them, or a bit quirky about them. And he uses them to illustrate the story, which is really cool. I think that's where he got the idea of the children with special powers or special abilities from some of these pictures. It's just, I really like these books. This is definitely going to be a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I know I'm going to love this. I've literally read the first chapter last night. I was in bed, so I'll just read a little bit before I go to bed. I couldn't put it down. I don't think it's going to take me very long. So this will be keeping me company for the next couple of days, couple of weeks, whilst I'm off sick. So that's one way to pass the time. So yep, going to be enjoying this. I'd say this is definitely fantasy. It is kind of young adult fantasy, I guess, but I think young adult or adult would enjoy it, depending on your personal tastes. But I thoroughly recommend his books. I think he's brilliant and is quite unique. So that's number 1. I'm not going to ramble too much about it because otherwise this video is going to be really long. So that's my first book. I think that's going to be a 5 out of 5 star rating, but I will, once I've read the books, I will do another video and see whether my predictions of how good I think the book is going to be come true or not. So my second book, also in the kind of fantasy/horror section, some of you will no doubt have seen the series on Netflix. This is the book. This is The Haunting of Hill House. I loved this series on Netflix, although I'm not actually that great with sort of horror genre. I jump incredibly easily. I find that these things prey on my mind quite a lot and quite like suggestible to psychological horror, although I kind of love it as well. This was hard for me to watch, I have to admit. I was kind of hiding behind my pillow and like, oh, I'm currently trying to watch Marianne and that's not much better. Seem to like to frighten myself. Pass. But I'm looking forward to reading this. I enjoyed the series. I thought it was quite unusual. I love the idea of like old haunted houses. I'm very interested in ghosts and other entities, so I guess that's why this appeals to me. Yeah, haunted house books and movies and programs right up my street, so I'm hoping this is going to be a 5-star book, but we'll see. It's quite short, so we'll see. Mind you, The Woman in Black is quite short, and that book is amazing. It's better than the film in my opinion, although the film is very good. But yes, looking forward to reading this one. This is by Shirley Jackson. Yeah, hopefully I'll enjoy that. So the last book I have in the kind of horror fantasy section is another one that I've seen the television series for. It's this one. This is a discovery of witches. This was on Sky. The book is by Deborah Harkness. This is a big old book. This should keep me going for a while. It might be quite some time before I read all 5 of these books. I'm not sure how long they're all going to take me. This book is about witches, demons, and vampires. This makes me happy. I am a massive fan of anything to do with witches and vampires. Demons not so much, but that's cool. I'm happy that that's in there as well. This book is based around this manuscript that all 3 parties are interested in, would like to get hold of, and then there's this lady who is a witch but isn't aware that she's a witch initially, and she kind of discovers her abilities, but she discovers the manuscript, and it's about her interactions with other people in the book, and how her knowledge affects those relationships. It is a bit of a love story as well between one of the vampire characters and this lady who is a witch, which is a forbidden relationship, so there's that aspect to the book. I just think this is going to be really, really good. I loved the series. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, potential 5 out of 5. This isn't good. They're all potential 5 out of 5s. Let's just say all these books could potentially be 5-star ratings, and I'll tell you what I think of them once I've read them. But yeah, it's just a little quote up here on the spine of the book that says, "It begins with absence and desire. It begins with blood and fear. It begins with the discovery of witches." So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I now just want to read all of these books at once, which is not a good thing. So that's the 3rd book. I've got 2 more to show you. The next one's a little bit left field. Some people might think, why on earth do you want to read that? Well, I have an interest in criminology and criminal mindset, and how that can relate to other people. So the next book is by Mae West, as in Mae West. We all know who Mae West is. So this is the book. It's called Love Always, or Love As Always, Mum. And this is the story of Mae West's daughter and her relationship with her mum. She speaks about her perspective and how the things that happened affected her, what it's like having Mae West for a mum. I think it should be interesting. It's quite an honest book from what I've read about it. I just think, I don't know, it appealed to me. I've got a thing about, like I say, people who commit crime. Obviously, Fred and Rosemary West are pretty well known as serial killers. But I think it'd be interesting to read the daughter's perspective on it. So that's this one. I actually picked this one up in the works for £3, I think. I just thought it'd be something a bit different, quite interesting, a more kind of non-fiction aspect to my reading. I'm not very good with non-fiction, although I do have a couple on the go at the moment that aren't included in this pile because they're going to take me forever. But no, I thought this should be interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. I will tell you more about it when I've read it. And then the last book, this one's a little bit unusual as well. I picked this up in a oldie worldy bookshop, can't talk. This is called Owls Do Cry. This is the book. It's by, I can't read it backwards, Janet Frame. She's a New Zealand author. For those of you that don't know, I have relatives in New Zealand. I've been to New Zealand. Thoroughly recommend New Zealand. It is absolutely stunning. I would love to go back. I went when I was 12 years old with my mum. I haven't been since because the airfare is so expensive. But I picked this up, one, because it is by a New Zealand author and I thought that would be interesting. But also the book just appeals to me. So This is Janet Frame's first novel. It was very, very popular in New Zealand. It was published in 1957, so it's quite an old book. Basically, it was labelled a masterpiece by the critics at the time. So the book is the story of a particular family. They're called the Withers family. I'm reading this off the back because I haven't read this, obviously. So it says, Owls Do Cry is the story of the Withers family. Francie, soon to leave school to start work at the woolen mills. Toby, whose days are marred by the velvet cloak of epilepsy. Chicks, the baby of the family. And Daphne, whose rich poetic imagination condemns her to a life in institutions. Now, obviously, I'm a mental health nurse. Anything to do with mental health, institutionalization, mental illness. Epilepsy is kind of not a mental illness, but it goes into kind of the brain injury aspect of mental health nursing. I've worked in brain injury in the past. I've met a lot of people with epilepsy. I have friends, unfortunately, who suffer from epilepsy, and it's a subject that is quite close to my heart. So thus my interest in this book. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm probably going to read this one second. It's been sat on my bookshelf for ages, and I picked it up this one and went, oh, I'd completely forgotten about that. So yes, I think the order is going to be Library of Souls, followed by Owls Do Cry, followed by The Haunting of Hill House, followed by Discovery of Witches, followed by Love As Always Mum. So those are my next 5 books that I'm planning on reading. I will obviously do another video once I've read them. It will be a while, guys. I don't read that quickly. So the follow-up to this will probably be in quite a few months' time. However, I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. A lot of the subject on my channel is about veganism and food, and as much as that's great, oh, and cross stitch, obviously, but books are quite a big passion of mine. I love reading. I think reading is a fantastic companion in life, and I just wanted to share that that element, not elephant, that element of my hobbies and interests. And obviously, as someone who's currently not able to work because of health, reading is something that is helping me get through it. I hope that all of you are having a good day and that you're in good health. If you've got any book suggestions for me, or you'd like to know more about any of the books, please don't hesitate. You know what to do. The comments are down below. If you like this video and you'd like to see more things about what I'm reading, what books I enjoy, please give this video a like so that I know you enjoy it. And I will see you in the next one. Hope you all have a great day. Bye for now.